Swami, I, and quite a few other people, Indulal Shah, Mr. L.C. Java, Mr. Atle, we were having dinner one day in Modi's bungalow, quite close to where we are today at Dharmakshetra. When Swami leans, I was sitting, I think, the fifth in the row. Swami was on a table. We were all sitting down on the floor. Swami leaned across to me and says, KK, that's my first name. Since you asked me to explain the origins of the Sevadal, Swami leaned across and said, how does the name Sri Sathya Sai Sevadal grab you? And I said, Swami, it looks like a good name. And that was that at the time of dinner. Next morning, we were in the car together, Swami, myself, and a couple of other volunteers. But Swami said, start the Sri Sathya Sai Sevadal. I said, Swami, I may not be very adequately qualified. With me, he says, there is no question of I may not be and I do not know. Start with good faith, start with knowledge, acquire the knowledge, and I am always behind everything. Don't let your ego speak. So I thought Sevadal means Seva is a service and Dal means an organization. So I told Swami, okay, we'll do. And by his grace, this was in 1968. And Swami said, well, I'll put a senior man with you. And he put Mr. Atle, who was at that time the general manager of the Bank of India, to start the Sevadal. And then Swami left Mumbai. This was in Mumbai. At that time, it was called Bombay. And within a month and a half, Mr. Atle got transferred to Delhi. So I was left all alone. But I structured the organization according to the thought processes that he gave me. And we divided it into a spiritual training course, a practical training course, and a service-oriented course. I was very fortunate in order to get the services of the principal of the Karnataka School of Music in Mumbai, who was Nagarkar, Mr. Nagarkar, who was himself a great spiritualist. And leading doctors from across the city gave me a helping hand as far as the medical courses were concerned. And finally, we decided that every volunteer must be trained according to the St. John's Ambulance Division course certificate, which is valid for 1 year and has to be renewed every year. The Parsi Ambulance Division at that time, I'm a Parsi, gave me very great support in training our boys in first aid. And the police were very useful in training the boys in controlling crowds, etc., and what to do. And I had the help of a few senior people. I must say at this time, very humbly, that I was quite young at that age, but all senior people gave me tremendous support and were always there. Purandare, a leading gynecologist of the city of Mumbai, whose very name, people would flock to him, attended every camp that we made, every medical camp that we made. Without fail, though he was way ahead, my senior in age and in position. So that's how the Sevadal started, sir. Then subsequently, we got hold of a Sevadal magazine. And Swami made me the editor of that Sevadal magazine. And that magazine, I was editor for 11 years. Then it got transferred to Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu wanted to control that magazine. After 3 or 4 years there in Tamil Nadu, they did not produce the magazine anymore. It was a good magazine. It was very well known for its photographs, because the photographs were taken by Dr. Fanibanda, and they were very beautiful, very, very lovely pictures of Swami. And people bought the magazine, I think. Took the magazine, not really bought it, because of the pictures that depicted of Swami. And in that magazine, we outlined the various ways of Seva, how Seva is done through devotion, how Seva is done through love, how the different religions view Seva, so on and so forth. And I think those contents of those magazines are quite valuable, because we did a lot of research and put a lot of things inside it. And I took the medical courses myself, though I am an orthodontist by professional training, but I read up And I took most of the first aid classes myself with the help of some leading surgeons from Mumbai. And Nagarkar ji took the spiritual courses, which were very hungry. And various police officials from time to time came and gave us training in management of the crowd control, and etc., etc. So I think the early Sevadal boys really got a very structured form of training, and it lasted for about 3 months. The training was supposed to be for 3 months. And some of the volunteers are still around today, and they themselves say that they loved the training that was given to them. So that's how the Sevadal started.